Thank you for joining me on the channel, Mazrock Tarot. Today is going to be another quick synopsis or my personal thoughts or beliefs or discovery or whatever. Bible conspiracies and conversations, debunking, whatever you want to say. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm actually going to be talking about the story of David and Goliath. Goliath, they said, was a giant, an armored giant. He was shielded or covered and protected by something. Since he was a giant, wouldn't that be the armor of God? Even if he was fallen, he would have had the armor of God. But in the story, because the Israelites had battled Goliath and his people for 40 days or 40 nights. And somebody was reigning, the sons of God, or the 40-40 club. Someone ascended, who ascended to the level of a godhead was David, because he challenged or he alphabeted that he could defeat Goliath. Now, here's the thing. For how they depicted, Goliath was huge, right? Tall, Nephilim type, big. Goliath was, David was little, tiny, short. His time was short. That has something to do with a mother and child and a dragon. But they said that Goliath, David to defeat Goliath used strings and stone. And he slung a stone to Goliath's head. Now, Goliath could have been like the size of a skyscraper. What's a giant? Is it 6 feet and up? Or it could have been, because they made it seem like 10, 11 feet, 12, 13, 14 feet, 15 feet, something, a ruler size. The thing is, they said he used a stone and slung it to to Goliath's head. Now, that made me think of the Stone Age, because they stoned someone to death. So David would have taught that practice of stoning someone to death, and it would have backfired, because it then would have attacked Mary with the same principle of doing that. Isn't that what they say? Somebody next to Jesus almost got stoned to death. But the first time that I had ever heard about it in the house of Abraham, because Abraham almost stoned his son to death, but he didn't do it, is David. He did stone someone to death. And Jesus thought he without sin shall cast that first stone. So they thought David was the person without sin. All right, here's the thing. David would have had to actually inflict pain on somebody. You got to think how hard that person's skull would have been to inflict pain. Because if David would have picked up something this size and somebody throw this at my head, it's not going to necessarily kill me. No. The reason bullets do it and they're so small is the material. It's not a stone. It's like titanium. And then also the trajectory, how fast it's going. Slingshot ain't gonna never sling as fast as a goddamn bullet. Now, he had to have been doing that shit Godspeed. He said he had a lever, a rope, and a boulder. To actually inflict pain on Goliath and kill him, he would have had to pick up a boulder. If he would have been out there, they would have been picking up boulders with strings. He might as well have built a pyramid. He might as well. Haven't been doing it. But that sounds like slave labor. But they say they stonehead him. But stonehead, yes, Stone Age, it became that part of time where they could stone someone to death because David showed them how. But it made me think of these things. I believe they're called moais. I don't know, Josh. I don't know what it is. Let me think of these. Egyptians had stuff like this. Theirs were people, animals. It's the Stone Age. Stony. David would have made 2 pyramids. Is that the Star of David? I would have made it. Shit, he could have even made the Baphomet. I don't know what it would have did. And he would have put, it would have been a G. I don't know. What's it? All right. It just zoned me the hell out. Because there's no way. There's no way an average stone that somebody got in the fucking slingshot gonna kill somebody. It could really fuck you up. But if I'm covered in the armor of God and I'm 20 feet fucking tall, I don't even know if that shit gonna be able to reach. What I'm seeing is like, say for instance, this is Goliath. Half of this is David. It would have been like, something would have went down. What would have went down would have been a stone. Dang. Something would have fell off a stone. Something would have hit. But when you look up the stone heads, they say that the heads are suggested to be moved around for ritual purposes, or the heads were used to signify political power. It has also been speculated that some of the heads were buried as part of ancestors' worship, or by rulers hoping to neutralize a predecessor's influence. So David had to take out the big guy with a string in the rock to become the builder of the pyramids. Why would Jesus have been telling all the men in the village about his ancestors who casted the first stone? Would Goliath have been a woman? Because other than Goliath, I only ever hear about Mary. There could be other stories, but just going off of where I am right now, the only other person, that got almost stoned to death, but someone intervened. It would have been the armor of God going, hey, 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 hey. That's not gonna work. Because he shielded her, or Elijah did, someone, and said, that can't do. But he would have told them, small people, the little people, that him without sin can cast the first stone. Which one of you think that you are my predecessors and that you want to take my position of influence? Sounds like a threat. As it is not. Going off Stonehenge and all that shit. Who is without sin that can do it? Did anybody continue? So, isn't that fascinating? What was Goliath's thing? Goliath was not a Gentile. He was opposing Israel. So they would have thought that was fake? Or do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, you can't just throw a rock at somebody and go, they're dead. I don't think so. He could have fell from the fucking concussion. I doubt it. He would have had to have a lever and a string with a fucking boulder, and he would have built 2 pyramids, call it the fucking Star of David. But they could sound one dead. But who can do it? Who can do it? Because Jesus is going, which one of y'all thinks that you is not a fucking sinner? I don't give a fuck if you live in Jerusalem. Which one of you thinks that you is not a sinner? Now, Mary's sin, because no sin is greater than the next, was what? She was widely known for selling out. She could have been a captain, a sailor, a prostitute, a scientist, a doctor, a teacher. She could have been in the trade business. But what was her sin? Womanhood? Womanly? She wasn't married? Yeah, what? Child has skin hide. They said, Eve said, I'm naked. She didn't have no dead animal on. They call it a skin hide. That's what Mary started doing. That's what Jesus started doing. That's what I started doing. Mary started it first because they made a big deal out of it in the Bible that she started hiding. Moses also started hiding, but Moses started hiding in Egypt. And so did Joseph. Joseph started hiding in Egypt. Joseph likes to hide in well. Man, start wearing fish? Yucky. I don't know. Can you wear fish skin? Can you wear scales? I don't know what you can do. Probably I was getting fashion. I don't know how you gotta hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husbands. Because there's some perverts out there that want to see people's naked. I don't know. What? But I don't think the rest of them was hiding. Oh no. Cain started hiding. Cain didn't hide. Cain killed someone. I started looking at brokerages real quick. People be saying when they go to an accountant, they go to a brokerage. Why would you want to go somewhere where it got, I'm going to make you broke in the title? You don't even get nothing out of it. You get an illusion that you have more wealth, technically. Because somebody that you don't know is going to say, I can make better choices than you. And since I just can't make better choices than you, I want you to pay me a percentage so I can take your money and spend it however I want. You should volunteer. That's exactly what taxes do. Taxes are a brokerage service. It's an investment company. I don't know how a government has let an investment company take money out of your accounts, out of your paychecks, and tell you what they're going to spend it on. You know what? They so shiesty, so criminal. They don't even tell you what they spend it on. They tell you technically, but bitch, somebody got to be paying that brokerage fucking fee. Some of that money out your taxes. If you pay $100 in taxes, I'm going to say $98 go to your brokerage fee, and then $2 go to whatever the fuck they say. Then they say, oh, some going to your Social Security. That's a lie. Social Security is free. It should be. Because what is it? It's governmental insurance. Governmental insurance is free. So when you believe like, oh, I worked 50 years and I didn't even get my stuff. Yeah, because you done worked 50 years. That's free. And then white people, when people get mad at black girls or whatever, because they go get that shit for free. It's not that they playing a game. It's the opposite. Them other people are playing a game with y'all money. You're not supposed to have that. You're not supposed to have that. I promise you. You're not supposed to have somebody just take whatever money out your paycheck. It ain't even a set in stone. They change it every fucking whim whenever they want. You know what? Because they're nothing. They said that they're a person. The rest of you are something or someplace. they don't know nothing about. But them are persons. And I keep telling y'all, I doesn't know. They say persons got something to do with consciousness, principality, moral compassing, and motherfucking reasoning. They got that reasoning, Scorpio. Fuck off. Imagine being a proud taxpayer. Bitch, you could at least, if you're gonna pay taxes, bitch, you should at least be able to go to the tax services and see a return on investments. And then, white people kill me. They go there talking about, we don't want to pay for Shaniqua's insurance. Bitch, you don't pay for Shaniqua's insurance, you stupid fuck. You dumbass. You dumbass person. You nothing. You no one. You Neo. Die. Because how you pay for Shaniqua's government assistance insurance? So you pay the government? So you pay somebody to ruin your life? Hike up food prices? Make you pay for Shaniqua's insurance? You pay that person to lead you to pay for something that you don't want to pay, and then you want to blame that fucking victim? Huh? That's sick. Get your motherfucking issue. That's why I said, who would I sing and cast the first stone? You motherfuckers ain't supposed to be casting on motherfucking spells. What's a stone? Who says ST1? You're not supposed to be telling people to get into place, act and whatnot. And you white people ain't supposed to pass judgment, because soon as you motherfuckers start opening your mouth, what you say don't make no damn sense. I be looking, and I had to get myself in check. I once used to get mad at bitches that had Section 8 and free public housing, but then I realized something. I don't want to live there anyway. So why the fuck am I mad that that lady or that man want to live somewhere that I don't want to live in the first fucking place? And your white ass don't want to live there either. So you just rather have somebody motherfucking homeless because you miserable? And then here's the killer part. You think you pay for it. Bitch, you don't. You pay the government. And that's who you really got a fucking problem with. And then the government disperse it. And guess what? The government only give them a motherfucking tiny piece of the motherfucking pie and put it in his motherfucking pockets. But you don't got a motherfucking problem with them motherfuckers going to get billion-dollar loans and having Mar-a-Lago and having private jets and living in a mansion with a movie theater, talking about it's for the president, talking about he's a commander or a fucking chief. Bitch, you gonna have to be Native American to even begin to do chiefing. What the fuck? Chief Keef my ass. That's insane. But it started off with the motherfucking pyramid builders. Talking about I lifted up something. I built something. And I destroyed my predecessor. You got me fucked up. Now if a motherfucker got the armor of God. I be watching that shit like what's that girl's name? I forget. Bu Ling or something. On TikTok. She a fake scammer. But she actually live in $1 million house. But it happened here at Fooyah. We got a glass company. All these white motherfuckers got up in the motherfucking roar. All the FBI, all these motherfuckers thinking they somebody's mother talking about we are fed. Bitch, who's feeding you? Who's doing that? I ain't giving you no motherfucking information, bitch. Let me tell you something. I don't like Satan saying informants. I don't like Anton Levy, bitch. They got mad at that Chinese man because they said that he had people working under the table and he was paying them and housing them. White people make me sick. Tell me about, we don't like that he got billions of dollars. Wow, you didn't think of it first? My bad. You really did. He just followed your motherfucking blueprint. I'm mad a nigga ain't did it. I'm talking about a nigga with no ancestry, bitch. That's the only reason that nigga can't do it. Because you done took away his stick for him to be able to motherfucking have a staff or a fucking crew. Saying, get in your places, people. Get in your places, you something shit. Isn't that fascinating? How they can sit up there and say Chinese people, we don't like your slave labor. We don't like your sweat lodges. We don't like how that, bitch, is you confusion? Then I'm gonna need all of y'all at the top that says that y'all motherfucking like it and y'all middle class and y'all white trash. Because according to some rules, to some statistic, white trash, you got $100,000, bitch. You gonna have to sell that motherfucking trailer. I don't give a fuck where you park your car. Matter of fact, give me the keys to that bitch because you don't need it. They be saying they don't want it. They didn't like it. Is you crazy? That is what made you what you is. You don't want somebody else to become a made man? White people got a motherfucking problem of fucking delusion. They want to have a tyrannical son, but bitch, you just could never. I ain't make no man. That's what God said. God said from the beginning, I ain't make no man. So what's a man? Fucking China, a man is a noodle. Every day, Chinese people go eat a man. If God tell you from the beginning, I didn't make no man. I made something out of dust. What's Jesus? What is that? What's that? What that? What is that? Who said that? Do y'all not recall? God didn't even make no man. He said, citizen, you, Adam, is going to get a job. You're going to work these lands. You're going to do it. And your bitch is cursed to be submissive to your hard-working ass. And she got to give birth to something with her lying ass. Fucked up ass. And it gonna hurt. So from the very beginning, he ain't make no man. Oh. Jesus started standing up. He couldn't even have been a wise man. He couldn't have been a Homo sapien. It has not been yet. That not happened yet. What's happening? That shit doesn't make no motherfucking sense to me. But hey. Hey. Well, that's all I got. Godspeed. God bless. Bye.